Hey YouTube, it's me, Jazz Cat, and I haven't been doing videos lately because I was waiting for Spyro to come out, and since it has, tomorrow I will officially be playing the new Spyro Remastered. So, but right now I wanted to talk about things I would like to see in video games, movies, those two things because I feel like movies and video games are like cupcakes and icings together. They fit together, it works together, it's great. But aside from that note, some things in video games we want to see happen, what I want to see personally, because I know people have their own, ideas and all that stuff. And, well, opinion just off the basis because I know some person's gonna be like, I don't want to see that happen. No, no. But so Legend of Zelda franchise, their green heroine Link be called Zelda by those who are very, very, very oblivious to the game franchise. Well, in this game franchise, Link is always the hero. He goes to save Princess Zelda from Ganondorf pretty much all the time. And, Zelda is a princess who, well, is a princess who has powers and can transform into a butt kicking ninja person named Sheik. Well, and Ganondorf is always the antagonist. The thing is, what I would want to see in like a Legend of Zelda game is something that they're supposed to be reincarnated times. Who's to say that Ganondorf can't be the good guy? I get that, Link and Zelda might actually be like a romantic relationship thing, but I would find it very actually see Ganondorf be like the main protagonist. You're playing as Ganondorf, you're playing as this really strong person, and you're actually going to save Princess Zelda from Link, who would be the bad guy. I would find that so intriguing, even though it's like completely different, and people will be like, no, but Link's supposed to save Zelda. That's how it goes. And I'm like, well, why not something different, something creative? Well, why not something different, something creative? I think it'd be kind of cool, like this really cool, flaming red hair, freaking Ganondorf, and like simple like travel clothes and everything, going to save Zelda, and I guess he would have to use the Master Sword, or he would probably fight Link in some other way to defeat him. I mean, he doesn't have to kill him. It's just, it'd be interesting to see. Link would be the bad guy, and it'd be interesting to see how he would look different. Maybe he would look more elegant, suave, dramatic. But I think that'd be interesting, just seeing Ganondorf as the good guy for once and going to save the princess, which is weird because you kind of see him as the bad guy, and it'd be cool to see some conversations go on about that. They'd be like, "Oh, Ganondorf is always the bad guy." Well, it'd be cool. I mean, also, I kind of got inspired by the idea that it'd be kind of cool because I was reading a comic. Don't worry about the comic, whatever it is, okay? And I was just like, that'd be something I'd like to see. I'd even play that game. So, on that note, I'm going to switch off onto my next thing I would like to see happen in the world of gaming. So I know that the Mass Effect franchise has kind of really freaking smacked its face into a wall with their latest game, the Andromeda series, well, the Andromeda Mass Effect, whatever, where you play as a freaking human again who's going off into space, brother coma, father dead, and you're just doing space stuff, I guess. And it's weird because the crew doesn't seem to fit together at all, and the graphics are horrible. And gameplay wise, it's so boring. I tried to beat that game. I tried to get everything 100%, the best stuff, and I couldn't get through the game. I feel so bad. Like, I loved Mass Effect like 2, 1, and 3. I played all of them, even though the last one, the third one, made me like super angry. But even though that game sucked, Andromeda, that doesn't mean that it should just die there. Like, I mean, wouldn't it be great instead of having like a human protagonist, make it that so when you play the game, you can pick which race you want to be, like the main races, like Krogan, Asari, Turian, Solarian, and I think I said them. Yeah, Asari, Quarian, Turian, Solarian, Krogan. Yeah, I think I said them. Okay. Well, wouldn't that be cool? You get to you pick the race that you would be. Depending on your race, can like determine the sort of interactions you get from the NPCs in the game. Like, let's say you're a Krogan. Like right off the bat, they're gonna like set you off as like this brutish thug, brute strength person who doesn't think logically at all, and you can determine whether or not that's true. Your person can be, oh yeah, I'm just gonna charge right in, beat everybody up, no questions, no answers, no nothing, just fighting. Or you can be a Krogan that would be like smart, intelligent, and actually have their mind set on like something other than war. That'd be kind of cool. Or if you're a Solarian who actually kicks butt and prefers to charge in and be different from the norm, that'd be cool. And then the interactions, like when you speak to the NPCs, would be totally different. Because honestly, I feel like Mass Effect was only good when you played human as you were Shepard, because Shepard portrayed that really emphasis of being a hero. Like, I don't know, but Mass Effect Commander Shepard was like the only human I would ever play as in the Mass Effect series, because they set that boundary of, hey, this is the main human, this is the one human you should play as in this series. Now, since they killed Shepard off, rest in peace, I would like to see us as the players given a chance, and if they ever make a new Mass Effect game, to let us be a different species, because then we can make our own new Commander Shepard that we wouldn't hold up to such a high expectation, because it would be something completely, we can craft as we play the game. Excuse me. That's the one thing that bothered me with the Andromeda game. Even though like completely sucked, it just didn't let you be creative. They're like, oh, you can make your own like character and everything, and they look like trash, but you could only be human. That's not very adventurous creating a game wise. Okay. That's like one thing I would love to see. And continuing on, are things that we want to see in the world. We're gonna go into movies and media. Well, not media, entertainment. Yeah, and I would like to see another Alice in Wonderland. I know some people don't like Alice in Wonderland, but me, I was a very big sucker for the visuals that was put into that movie. The graph, the anime, the effects, the special effects and all that, it was something that I really enjoyed. And they made two movies so far, through The Looking Glass and just Alice in Wonderland, which was the first one. There is supposedly a third book to the Alice in Wonderland, book series, the group of them. And that's where it's called Through the Eye of the Needle. And I want to see that. Like, I want to see them make another Alice in Wonderland. That'd be so great. It'd like finish it off. It'd feel great. But the thing is, if they made another movie, I would want to see Alice actually stay in Wonderland. It would be interesting. It'd be unique. Maybe she's like a little bit older in life and she's telling her I guess maybe she could have kids. Yeah, she had kids, and she's telling one of her kids the story, and then right after she finishes, that's when the movie could start, and then she could be like, sewing something, and then she could go to Wonderland, and then after that she stays there for some reason. I don't know, because this is just like an idea. It'd be great to see that, because I feel like Alice belongs in Wonderland. She'd prefer a life of like uniqueness, adventure, strange and different, than instead of spending the rest of her life in a world that, she doesn't really quite fit in. Even in like the movies, the part where she was put into an insane asylum kind of proves my point that she doesn't really fit in there that great. All right, but yeah, that'd be great. She stays in Wonderland. I feel like that'd be like a great finish to like the franchise of the movies, and it'd be nice to watch. You'd be like, yes, she finally stayed because, Alice always leaves, and it doesn't make sense because, I mean, all her friends are pretty much in Wonderland, and the only thing she really does in her, life in Earth, the Earth dimension, is work, 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 work. You know, trying to expand the minds of others, even though they have a very short range of thought, like any human. Most humans are like that. And it just seems fitting that she stays there because she belongs in Wonderland. It's her Wonderland. It's her land of where she can get away from the human world spectrum and views and everything, and she can adventure and all that. You know, and also it'd be great to see everything change in Wonderland again because both movies you saw Wonderland in one view where Ravenna, the Red Queen, was like reigning and she was decapitating a lot of people, being that freaking person to take over most of Wonderland, and it was great. And then after Ravenna was exiled from Wonderland, or Underland as they say, you see in the next movie that the White Queen is taken over, but things aren't as they should be, and Ravenna's still around, but she's like on the outskirts of Underland, and yeah, it'd be interesting to actually see both sisters in the next movie actually working together, and then another outside force could come in and challenge all of that, and Alice comes to save the day. For the final time. I don't know. I would like to see that. Maybe give her that suit of armor she had in the first movie and the sword, and send her on a cool quest into the land of Wonderland, Maybe some beast, mythical beast or something in the world can attack the White Court and the Red Court. That'd be so cool. That's just my idea on it, something simple. Okay, this one is way out there. Even though Okay, so we're gonna go off rails. Okay, we're gonna go to another idea of mine. Well, what I want to see happen. Okay, so we know the Disney franchise made this very sickening thing called Frozen a while back. Now hear me out. Don't just abandon ship and jump off the edge because you heard Frozen. Okay, but what I would like to see with the characters, because I know they were pretty, trashy. Whoa, plot twist, Hans is evil and all that. And oh my gosh, look. Hans, the bad guy, actually get a redemption arc and not make the movie surrounding Elsa. Like, don't make it surround Elsa. Make it surround Hans. Because most Disney movies that involve a princess involve the fact that that princess is the main person that they focus on in the entire movie. Well, Hans, since he's a prince and he's like the evil dude, I'd feel like it'd be cool to have a movie about somebody who was the villain for once, and then have him have a redemption arc, kind of like in what was that called? Maleficent, except for the fact that he actually did bad things, And it would be cool to see him actually get a redemption arc. And honestly, I feel like it'd be kind of interesting to see Elsa, who actually hates Hans, actually become somewhat of a romantic interest. I know I'm a sucker for the romance, but it would be interesting, somebody you hate becoming somebody you love, which is something that's kind of common in the real world, kind of. And also, I would like to see maybe Hans, different, maybe instead of like him being all princely looking now in the next movie, he'd be like all, roughed up, being in prison, and then he gets let out, and he actually hears of some person plotting to actually this time successfully killing both sisters, Anna and Elsa, and then, he swoops in there and does his thing, I guess, in his own way. Like, maybe it's a little bit not the way that we think. He's not going to go in there and be like, oh, you're going to be killed. Maybe he pretends to work along with this plot, and even though it looks like he's a bad guy again, he's not. And it would just be something of a cool different side of Disney, where you actually do get to see the bad guy and see what he did and how he outsmarts people and everything, and then at the end it actually is that he's trying to be the good guy. but in his own way. Because when they change somebody in Disney movies, they've always been like, he's actually really nice, and he was really nice. It just everybody just trash talked him and everything. But no, what if he is kind of evil? Because I mean, we humans aren't perfect. It takes a while to change your ways. You can't just turn a new leaf every second and be like, oh, you know what? Today I am not going to be angry, and you're angry and you just flip over the leaf. You're like, I'm happy as fudge. No, that's not how it works. I would just love to see that for like Hans. Maybe make the movie a little bit interesting, Instead of Frozen 2, it could just be, the Prince's Redemption or something cool like that, I would love to see that. That'd be interesting. Because nobody really, there's nothing really to do with Elsa. I don't know. I don't find her interesting at all. She's very, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. She's like one of those people that reach out a lot to get attention, and I hate those people very much. It's not that I really hate them. It's just that I dislike how they try so much to get attention, like, oh, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, and it's just I thought she was pretty boring. Her sister, people are like, oh, she's so quirky and everything, and I'm like, yeah, but she's very how do you say, she's very oblivious to a lot of things, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna marry this guy in a day, and then her sister's like, no, and then later on at the end of the movie she pretty much does get married to what's his name, I forgot, that reindeer boy, and she gets married to him pretty much, and so what was the point? She still got married in the end. She wasn't like, oh, I saw the error of my ways and I'm not gonna marry no man. I'm gonna spend my maiden years doing what I want. And she's like, nope, she married the reindeer boy. Whatever. Oh my goodness. I just would like to see maybe a Frozen movie that's not a Frozen movie, It's about some other character that was in the last movie. That'd be interesting. Not the princesses, not the reindeer boy, not the trolls. It'd be freaking about the evil man from the last movie, the one that had the most lamest plot twists in history. Okay. The other thing that I would like to see not happen in Disney is I would not like to see more remastered Disney movies. Now I know, like, I guess they're like, oh, this is such a good idea, so we can work out the plot holes and everything in old Disney classics like Beauty and the Beast, for example. But the thing is, I feel like the classics should stay untouched, because it just kind of ruins the whole childhood experience. You see the original and you're like, oh, it's so simple, hand drawn cartoons, everything, there's nothing messed with. The plot is like just very childlike, you can watch it, it's just a kid movie and that's it. But when you see the new one after seeing the old one, you see that they're just trying to push old school stuff into like the newer version of what fits society standards. Like Maleficent, they wanted her to be the good guy, They wanted her to not kill nobody. But in reality, I would have liked to see a remastered version where Maleficent was still the bad guy because she was so suave and elegant and graceful and evil at the same time. It was, I mean, the remastered version was okay, yeah, I was a fairy, my wings were torn off, even though that scene like killed me internally. But in the end they're like, oh, we reunited the kingdoms. King Stefan was actually the evil guy, and true love's kiss is it, well, the prince didn't kiss her Aurora and made her awake and whatnot, blah 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 blah. No, okay, these remastered versions are terrible, 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 because it just doesn't feel right if you've seen the old ones. And it's terrible that they're remastering things and changing it. Like, they're just pushing these along so they'll fit society standards and make more people want to buy more merchandise and stuff like that. I just don't like it. If I ever had children myself, I would probably be like, kids, you're gonna watch the very original Disney stuff and you're gonna stay away from the crap that's called remastered. And then I'm gonna be like, okay. Because honestly, I don't see the big deal about the old version movies. They were made in a time that was different from our own, even though it was like a couple years, but still, that's you should leave what was made that was so good at that time and that people have enjoyed for a long time the same, because then it makes people question a lot of things about all the movies, like Pinocchio, when the scene of those kids drinking and like smoking and stuff. If they remade Pinocchio, that movie would be a freaking horror fest. Like, I swear, there's no way you could turn Pinocchio in a remastered version to anything that would be childlike and starry eyed. The cartoon version dulled it down a bit, but Pinocchio's a pretty dark story, and I would not want to see any Pinocchio remastered. Maybe. But, that would be if it was like a horror film and it was scary, it would freak me out. That'd be great. But, since it's Disney, they're not going to do that, obviously. Oh, okay. And this one, my next one is going to be so true to a lot of people who have watched these cartoons when they were younger. Okay, so there was a show back in the olden days of Cartoon Network called Teen Titans. And not Teen Titans Go, the trash that modern day children watch. It was an actual show about teenagers who were superheroes and they fought villains that varied from day to day, and sometimes there was an internal conflict among them and they had to solve their problems out like actual human beings, and there was that hint of anime that inspired that show's artwork, and it was beautiful. Each character had their character building arcs, and it was awesome. Like, every time I would see the Teen Titans like music pop up and it was the show was about to start, I would literally stop everything else just to watch it because the art was beautiful, the characters, I loved them, and everything was great. And then I guess the creator said he thought nobody cared about Teen Titans, which was the complete opposite. A lot of people loved the original Teen Titans, the art, everything. Just like I said, it was beautiful, and they ended it right when it didn't fit like it should end. Like, what happens. A lot of things were unsolved. It makes you angry. My goodness. And the Teen Titans Go is just it's made for really, really, really immature children. If I don't even want to talk about Teen Titans Go. Blech, leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Because it seems like people are just, trashing their good ideas because they're not appreciated enough, because they're not, reformed like all other TV shows. Like, I've seen some good TV shows come out this year that were cartoons, and they are small starting, but they're embracing new ideas and they're completely original. It's just that people shut them down so fast because they're different. And so they want their children to only watch the stupid cartoons that, that you'd think kids would watch. I don't like that. Because I remember on Cartoon Network, Chowder was on TV, and it was a silly show, but it wasn't like completely, idiotic. Like, it wasn't so idiotic. It was funny in the way that it was, good funny, not like gross, stupid funny. It was actually funny. Because, Chowder, the purple cat and everything. That's what I liked about Teen Titans. There was humor in it, but it actually savored that part of storytelling that you would enjoy as a kid. It was like you were reading a comic book without reading a comic book. You were watching the comic book play out on screen, and that was it. You know, that's one of the things I miss. I miss Teen Titans a lot because when I was younger, I didn't have cable, so I wasn't able to watch Cartoon Network all the time. And when I was able to, I would always wait for Teen Titans. That was the thing. That was the stuff back then. Chowder, Teen Titans. I think Samurai Jack was always on Adult Swim. I'm not sure, but I watched that one too, and all those classics. And then Powerpuff Girls, and I think Johnny Bravo, and yeah, and then all of it went down the drain as the new century came by, and then nowadays you see some good TV shows like Steven Universe, We Bear Bears, and Heidi, but those shows aren't very, put up front. They're put in the back, like where kids don't even watch it because they don't want them to watch it. Steven Universe, because of its you know relationships and everything in it. They don't want kids seeing that. Rebecca Sugar struggles to fight for her show, and I hope for her because that show is something that I really like. The art is beautiful. I would definitely show that to my kids if I ever had kids. So that's just me. Also, what I would like to see is the new Last of Us is coming out soon, next year. I'm pretty sure, maybe, I'm not sure. What I'd like to see in that game that Joel takes her to a settlement, and he's like, did they find someone else to find the vaccine? And he's like, yeah, they did, so they didn't need you. But he lied and everything. And I would like to see what happened to Joel, because now Ellie's on her own, fighting zombies and I guess people at the same time. And Ellie is like the only person who actually carries the immunity to the virus, which could save humanity. But there's only two ways. Okay, two ways that I can think of that Ellie could help save the human race. One, they make the vaccine like they were gonna do, even though it might kill her. Or two, she has kids. And since Ellie is not straight, she prefers women. I find it very like, how is this going to happen? Is Ellie just going to be that one person that thinks, oh, human race is going to survive, even though, the infected are still there? Like, the infected don't waste away like regular zombies. The flesh doesn't just fall off. They're just mushroom people, and they're just gonna stick around forever. And I doubt humans, like, they're all humans in the game universe of Last of Us can't really protect themselves from those infected. Let's be honest. Joel was the only one able to cross the country, piece of cake, with a kid with him, only because Ellie kind of saved his life at one point. But that's beyond the point. Ellie, I want to know if she needs to. She'll finally figure out, like in the next game coming up, that she didn't. There wasn't anyone who actually gave the vaccine. Joel killed all the fireflies, and single-handedly, might I add, and he took her away, and now there she is, the one person who could save the human race from this virus. And so far, she's done nothing. Squat, diddly, squat. That's the only thing that got me angered. If they make Ellie just, if they make her just fight zombies and at the end, don't do anything, she'd be really selfish. I'd really hate Ellie for that. Ellie doesn't seem like that kind of person, but if they make it so, just so that she doesn't save the human race at all and does, whatever she wants for her own selfish reasons, I would completely hate it. I would throw my controller, I would curse the game, and I would never play it again. I would play through it, but if I saw that, I would just not play it. Because honestly, Ellie is the only surviving thing, and well, the only surviving human that we know of that could save the human race. If there's somebody else that has, the antibodies to the virus too, then cool, they could probably save the human race instead, because I don't know. But I feel like Ellie would probably make a good sacrifice, like a good selfless sacrifice for the human race, because she's all about that. She's a good kid. Well, not anymore. She's gonna be an adult, of course. But I want to see what happened to Joel, because if he died by getting bitten or something and he blew his own brains out, I'm going to cry, because Joel was like the top dog in that game. Like, when I listened to like that character and who he was, and when I saw his daughter die in his arms, that like hit me, and I was like, oh my god, Joel, I feel for you. It was like I actually cried at that part. That game had so much emotion, the first one. I expect the next one to have the same, and if it doesn't, that's gonna really suck. I'll just imagine some other ending for it if it does. Also, the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out in like 2 years, I think. what I want to see for that game is actual free world wandering. And even though the producers of The Witcher are working on that game, I still am very cautious about games that are like that because sometimes they don't get the right feel for it, and the missions sometimes don't feel very free at all. They feel very restricted to what you have to do. And that's something I don't want to see. And that's it's just something that bothers me. I just want to see Cyberpunk 2077 to be a good, sci-fi game because let's face it, there's not that many sci-fi games, and it'd be good. It'd be good. It'd be really great. Well, it's been like I've been talking for like 30 minutes or so, but my name is Jazz Cat. If you're new here, like and subscribe. Sometimes we talk about games, sometimes we talk about other things. Sometimes I play video games, like tomorrow I'm playing Spyro. So if you want to catch that, I might be playing during the evenings or at night. It depends. But yeah, if you're new here, please like, subscribe, comment. I will talk about what you want. So, well, suggestions are great. So leave a suggestion down below and I will catch you guys later.